All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to a kind of on-the-spot book publishing opportunity here to speak with Neal Bawa. I'm so excited. My name is Brett Swartz, founder of Capital Gains Tax Solutions, and we're launching a book today. It's like a book party today. Book party because we want to encourage you to download the free version of the Kindle version, the Kindle version, which is for free on Amazon right now. We have a big passion for helping people create and preserve more wealth when it comes to exiting highly appreciated assets. And as a part of that, not only exiting and deferring that capital gains tax, but then be able to invest into things that give them cash flow and give them an opportunity to build massive amount of wealth, especially in multifamily, which I'm so excited to bring on Neal Bawa right now with me. And Neal, for those who don't know, he's known as the mad scientist of multifamily. He has a real gift for numbers and helping people create freedom through passive or even active multifamily investments. I had the pleasure to meet Neal for the first time in person at the Best Ever Real Estate Conference in Utah about 1 month ago. But I want to bring on Neal right now to talk about his chapter for the book. Neal, how are we doing?
Fantastic. I'm thrilled that the book is out. I'm looking forward to reading it on my iPad today.
Excellent. Thank you so much. And again, people can go to Amazon right now and just download the free Kindle version. Make sure you click on the one below that says free. So in the book, we talk about your first as a child, right? Looking and seeing numbers in a way that at first maybe your parents or those, maybe your teachers or whoever it was, thought it might be something that's going to hold you back, but it ended up being a real gift. So talk about the importance of just when you're raising kids and or raising people in your family that are youngsters to identify those gifts, Neal, and make sure that you encourage and build that strength and make it a superpower and make sure we're not missing that as leaders.
Yeah, my mom was really freaked out because I would basically start, looking at something like even a painting or something like that and start to write down numbers. To me, everything, the dimensions in the painting, triangles or angles represented numbers. And I would start writing those things down. And sometimes I would actually respond in numbers. So I'd say something and then the sentence would basically go to numbers. I think I was 7 or 8. And she really was freaked out about it because she felt like something was wrong in my head. And my dad was a fighter pilot, so they took me to the Army hospital in Mumbai. And luckily, a doctor there felt that we shouldn't try to suppress this. We shouldn't try to basically get me to go away from it. We should basically try to get my head to make sense of what I was doing. Why was I responding to normal language with numbers? And I think what he discovered was that that's the way my brain works. It is a mathematical thing. It's kind of like Neo in the Matrix, right? And so I see numbers in everything as I'm taking a walk with my morning in the morning with my wife. I'm counting to see how many steps are in each slat between the pavement, that little cut between the concrete where the concrete expands. I'm trying to figure out what that is. I'm trying to figure out how many leaves a particular tree has as compared to others. That's just the way my mind works.
Before we continue, let me take 60 seconds to tell you about Multifamily University. Are you ready to take your real estate investing to the next level? Look no further than Multifamily University. Our comprehensive resources, including guest podcast appearances, educational webinars, the Real Estate Trends Toolkit, and the Location Magic course, are all designed to make smart investing easy and accessible. Plus, with no subscriptions, no upsells, you can trust that we're always looking out for your best interests. But don't take our word for it. Check out what our satisfied customer, Carlos M., had to say. Neal's presentation was filled with invaluable information that is not readily available to the average investor. This group takes you to the elite level of investing. Join the ranks of the elite with Multifamily University. Join us at multifamilyu.com and start investing from a place of knowledge today. Not only will you have access to a wealth of knowledge from industry experts, but you'll also be able to stay ahead of the game with our in-depth analysis of market trends and potential recessions or corrections. Invest with confidence and make informed decisions based on data, not gut feel. Don't miss out. Visit us at multifamilyu.com today or click the link in the description below. And now, back to the content.
And the doctor identified it and said, this is not a flaw. This is a gift. And so what they did was they worked on getting me out of my autistic grumpy mode to where I was just normal and talking with people, but they encouraged the gift. So they sent me to mathematics classes. They talked to my school folks and bumped me up a couple levels. So I was going in for advanced math, statistical analysis. And that's why I'm a data scientist today. So I think a lot of it is really about getting over that initial anxiety and fear and seeing people for who they really are.
Fantastic. And I, I absolutely love that. Seeing people for who they really are, encouraging that gift, and also realizing that we're all not created with the same gifts. We all have different gifts and different abilities and different, let's call them superpowers. I believe these are God-given gifts and given us to be a blessing and help to others. So talk about how you've taken that gift and you're a blessing and help to others as it pertains to multifamily investing. And in particular right now, you talked at the Best Ever Real Estate Conference here a month ago on stage about the challenges that are ahead and or right now with those who over leveraged and didn't diversify and maybe overpaid for properties when maybe they shouldn't have via the 1031 exchanges, or just or a little bit more overextended on some of these investments, and what's happening right now according to those numbers that you talked about.
So, knowing math, right, and understanding math gives me a better look into the future. Perhaps it gives me 6, 12, and 18 months. But personally, for myself, it gave me the ability to look at when I would retire. And I was absolutely unhappy with what I saw there. I live in Taxifornia. I was a technologist with a massive salary, but I wasn't keeping much. I was basically just giving it to the man. There were years when my tax bill was 53.4%. So 53.4% of my salary was going to the IRS. So I felt like when I projected this forward to a retirement, all the comforts and the money that I'd gotten used to, I wouldn't have. At the point of retirement, I would basically have to drop my level of living. And so I was like, what is going to prevent me from doing that? Well, the first thing was taxation. And so I went around asking lots and lots of questions, doing lots and lots of math on taxation. And it became obvious to me that real estate was basically just different from any other thing. The only other area in which I see the same benefits is oil, but oil is very risky. When my math brain does the risk on oil, the risk reward doesn't work out. So I started doing real estate, and I did real estate for 10 years as a technologist, using my own money, bought dozens of homes for myself and my family, got to the point where my taxation was under control. And that allowed me to make investments that I wouldn't have made until 10 or 15 years later in my life, because the money was going to the IRS. Well, now I was basically investing in real estate, not paying taxes, then using that money to invest more in real estate. And I basically got to the point where at the age of, I think it was 39 and a half, I'd replaced a technology salary of over $300,000. So when you replace $300,000 with passive income, it changes your life. It changes everything that you see. And so I said, this is something that most people don't know. I see all these technologist folks, they don't understand that they're basically just working for the man, and they will take a massive hit as they get older or as they lose their job to their standard of living. And I became convinced that after 10 years, I'd learned enough and I wanted to share it with other people. And that's why I created a course on a website called udemy.com. There's 11,000 nerds taking that course right now. It's real estate data science, and it allows you to pick the best cities in the United States for real estate investing. You can pick any 2 random cities and immediately rank them in order of which one's better for real estate profits. And that course, I thought maybe 100 people would take it, but as I said, there's 11,000 people taking this course. You type in UDEMY space Neal Bawa, and you'll see people taking it. It's got over 1,000 5-star reviews. So I think there's people like me out there that see the magic in numbers and what it can produce for your lifestyle, for your children, for just happiness. Money matters when it comes to happiness. And I just I just rank everything on the basis of happiness. And I find that money is really up there in terms of what creates happiness. And so today, I have 1,000 investors. They've invested $280 million with me, and I bought $1 billion of multifamily. I'm giving them lots and lots of depreciations, which is knocking down their taxations. I'm giving them profits, but I'm also using numbers to not engage when I shouldn't be. In the last 2 years, my peers bought 6 to 8 properties. I bought one. Because I could see that the mathematics was not working. So this conference that you and I met for the first time, we've talked many times, but we met in person. I was presenting they opened the conference with my presentation called Crisis Bootcamp, How to Save Your Property, because people have basically overpaid by 30 or 40%. And now I'm using math to show them how to save their property so that their investors don't lose all their money.
Yeah, and that's so important right now, right? Because things are happening. I mean, they happen now with the interest rates. They've already happened. The adjustment happened in the last 6 months, 8 months probably now. Massive adjustments in interest rates, and then people have either overpaid, over leveraged, or both. And they didn't either buy the rate caps, or the rate caps are expired, or it's above and beyond that. And so you're looking at situations where also banks themselves are pulling back. Certain banks are collapsing if they're not necessarily tied to multifamily investing, right? It's something completely different, but the whole system is shifting right now. The whole market's shifting now. Multifamily occupancies are still very high. Rents
Yes,
are
they are.
actually, even or still growing. So that's not the challenge. It's the debt side of things.
That's right.
So talk about what your thoughts are on A, clarifying what's happening, and then B, what can someone do about it if they have, perhaps over leveraged where they're at?
Multifamily is a business. It's not like single family where if there's $1 million property, you have a comp, you can buy a property for $1 million next to it, regardless of what's happening in the environment. With multifamily, you can only get a certain amount of debt or loan on a property based on its income. So as the interest rate goes up, your ability to get debt reduces, right? So rates go up, the amount of debt that you can get reduces, which is why the value of multifamily properties have been dropping. So in the last 4 quarters, the multifamily properties in the US have dropped by 22%. Now, what's important to understand is, and this is the amazing opportunity, their income hasn't dropped. Why? Their occupancies are strong and the rents are still the same or slightly higher than they were a year ago, just a little bit higher. And as a result, you're getting the same income for a business that you're buying, but it's now 22% cheaper. But today, nobody wants to do it. This is why math matters so much. Every investor that I had was willing to shower money on me 18 months ago when they were seeing that people were buying all these properties at completely crazy prices. And I was like, no, I don't want your money, please. And they went away, they went to other people and they invested in their properties. And now they're crying. And now I'm telling them, let's buy as many properties as we can. They're 22% down. By next quarter, they'll be 26% down. They're like, no. A lot of bad things have happened. Mathematics allows you to look past it. Warren Buffett is right. When everyone else is greedy, be afraid. When everyone else is afraid, be greedy. I was afraid 18 months ago, so I sat this market out. Today, I don't have to deal with cash calls. I don't have to deal with bleeding properties. And so I'm greedy right now. And once again, math shows me this is a great time to be greedy. And my investors are like, no. We've had a really bad time in the last 18 months. This is why math is so critical. It helps you make really tough decisions.
We're sticking with Neal Bawa. You can go to Grow Capitus to look him up. It's GRO Capitus. His company is also spelled Bawa is BAWA. We're talking about his chapter and also just what's going on in the marketplace for the new book that just released, Building a Capital Gains Tax Excellence. It's released today. And if you go to Amazon on a Kindle version, you can download the free version for the next 24 hours. And the goal of this book is to help you build an ideal wealth plan. And part of that is finding and investing with people like a Neal Bawa, who has a special gift for numbers and a passion for real estate and a passion for helping you create freedom and wealth through investing, especially in pro-business states. We're going to talk about here just in a second some of the states that Neal really likes and why the massive amount of wealth and businesses are leaving Taxifornia and are looking at places that are going to be very, more efficient just with their capital. But you can pick up the book right now. You can look at Neal's chapter. It's called The Science of Multifamily. And it's Neal's story. It's detail on multifamily in the book. It is chapter 10, Neal Bawa. So Neal, talk about the top places right now for investing. What are you liking? How are you structuring deals right now?
Right now is a very unusual time. So that course I mentioned on udemy.com, it allows you to rank, 400 cities in the US, and I rank them. We do this every month, by the way, and we use a lot of different parameters. And normally those parameters are things that you would understand, easily. Population growth, job growth, income growth, home price growth, crime reduction, better quality of schooling. And so you rank those cities by that. But today, right now, is such a bizarre time. Brett, I'm just buying where it's cheap, because the discounting is ridiculous, right? Normally, you would struggle to get a 3 to 4% discount on multifamily for the last 7 years. Today, you're getting 22% off peak, 26% off peak. So I'm opening things up a little bit and saying, hey, today price matters, even though I'm not going to buy in Louisiana because it's losing population. I'm not buying in West Virginia. I'm not buying in Illinois. So all of the principles apply. So I'm still buying in all of the super fast growing low tax states. There's Florida, Texas, Georgia, North Carolina, Arizona, Utah. These are still my watering holes. But today, what I care about the most is how big of a discount do I get? Because I'm locking in value on the buy side in a way that I haven't been able to do for almost a decade.
So it's here. So right now it's here, and you're following the numbers, and you maybe go a little bit outside of your geographical areas, not too much, just for states such as Louisiana that are losing population, probably even California too. I don't know if you'd even consider buying, but still, if the numbers make sense and you can buy at a discount, that is what you're doing. It makes perfect sense. By the way, talk about too, for those who are in multifamily investing who might be in trouble, right, and might need kind of a bailout. Talk about your way to help them out, and I know that could be very valuable for somebody listening right now.
Yeah, so our industry exploded after the 2014 Jobs Act. I started investing in real estate in 2004, and until 2014, I didn't invest. I didn't have any investors. It was just my money, right? So my technology money. But in 2014, the Jobs Act allowed syndication or syndicators to come in. And so an industry developed. Most syndicators have really come in since the 2017, 2018 timeframe when educational programs came by. So they've never seen a bad time. They've never seen the value of multifamily go down. It's always gone up. Most of these people are shell shocked at this point because they bought properties for $10, $15 million more than they were worth. And so today they have two options. Number one, return keys to the bank, which, by the way, ends their career. If you return keys for a multifamily property to a bank, especially if it was a Fannie Mae or Freddie Mac loan, that is the end of your career. You can never get a Fannie Mae or Freddie Mac loan again. The other option is you work with groups like mine, which come in with what is known as rescue capital. So we come in and we capitalize your property. We inject more money into it because often there's nothing wrong with the property. As Brett said, you forgot to take a rate cap, or your rate cap was set too high, or you need money to buy a new rate cap. In all of these cases, the property needs to be capitalized. You don't have the money. Your investors are really angry because obviously they haven't made any money over the last 2 or 3 years because you overpaid. And so we come in and we actually rescue those properties. Now we come in a position ahead of your investors, but at least they have a chance of getting their money back. Because today, if you hand the keys back over to the bank, they will get 0 cents on the dollar. And so rescue funds like mine, Goldman Sachs just created one as well. They tried to get me involved in that, but they wanted me more as an employee than a principal. So I was like, no, I'm just going to create my own. So that's what you're going to hear about right now today. I think the best opportunity is not to invest in multifamilies, is to invest in rescue funds, because you get into a very advantageous position over all the existing equity.
Excellent. That rescue fund would be something where you'd probably be a credit investor, and then B, essentially it's looking for opportunistic deals that are 20% off kind of thing, and where you could come in is either as a joint venture to recapitalize the capital stack and be a part of that deal if the numbers make sense, right?
That's
or
right.
B, maybe just take it out completely. Is that kind of the plan, Neal?
We have the option of doing that. Sometimes, we look at a property and we realize that this is a good property, but the numbers are still not making sense. So what we do is we stay engaged, and when the keys are returned to the bank, we go knocking on that bank's door with a check. And because we were already engaged with that property, we know enough about it. We can just simply tell the bank, here's a check. Do you want it? Right? And that bank is like, oh, great. This is going to pay off my loan. I don't care about anything more than that. Remember, the bank doesn't care if the property is worth 25 million. If their loan's 17 million and a guy named Neal Bawa just happens to walk in through the door on the day that they took the keys back and he's got $17 million written right there, they'll take it because all they care about is their 17 million.
I love it, Neal. And Neal, if people want to get in touch with you, we're out of time now. Where can they find you? And remind us of the Academy one too. Spell that out to make sure we get that right.
Absolutely. Easiest way is multifamily followed by the letter u.com. So that's www.multifamily followed by the letter u.com. And Multifamily University has about 25,000 people that sign up for our webinars. Brett, by the way, is one of the people presenting at Multifamily University. So he's our capital gains tax expert. But there's a dozen experts, and then we do a dozen webinars each year. We're going to be doing a town hall talking about the upcoming crisis on commercial real estate, not multifamily, but commercial real estate has $1.5 trillion of loans coming up that nobody wants to renew. And that presentation is coming up in 2 weeks.
Fantastic. Neal Bawa, thank you so much for being on the podcast. Thank you so much for being a part of the book. I know they say to get in rooms with people that are smarter than you, and I feel privileged to be in the room with you, or in the book with you, and in this Zoom room that we're in right now. Thank you so much.